Can't put Trevor. Yeah,
Oh,
Trevor's.
I'm good. I'm so
I love
good.
it. You're hired. That man's hired.
I remembered. It's a miracle.
Hello, everybody. How lovely to see you. Where's everyone beaming in from? I'm in the UK. Trevor's on the West Coast, somewhere sunny. It's absolutely been chucking it down here, Trevor. You wouldn't believe the weather
Makes
in.
that always makes me so happy. It makes me warm and glow inside to hear that.
It always makes me laugh how happy that makes you when it's absolutely been bucketing it down here in the UK. And we got a bank holiday weekend coming up, so that would be nice. It can't make up its mind. One minute it's summer, next minute it's winter.
Yeah, we get a thing. So here, there's Memorial Day is sort of like the launch day for summer tourists, basically. And so you lose your town from now until um September, and then there's a closing bank holiday or public holiday as they call it here, and then we get it back again. So it's fun. So I'm going to be I'm playing the role of co-host today, or so I'm going to let people in and monitor the chat. And this is all Lisa's show. So you all know Lisa. She runs the Business Catalyst that took over from Living Brightside with first of all the back end, which is some of you have seen. We've done webinars and stuff on the back end, and it's very sophisticated. It's like the Rolls Royce of I don't know
Yeah.
what you call it, back ends. I guess. I now know I have a back end, but I have no idea what it is. And so we've been figuring out over the last year that, what's the customer journey for trevorgblake.com. And we still haven't fully figured it out because I thought this would be a very simple thing to do. It turns out to be incredibly tricky because the answers to those questions should be pulled out of my hair like the pensieve in Harry Potter, and I should know who I am and what I represent, and um, and so sorry, I'm doing the admin thing, and
Yes,
I
exactly that.
can't multitask. I admit I can't multitask. So um, someone's
Kind of
trying to do a note. People are asking me to do their note takers and stuff like that. Anyway, so I will be the host. Lisa's going to do what. So in the VLS, what we've had for the last year is a speaker program, at least one speaker a month, sometimes two speaker a month. And the speakers, supposedly had strong business backgrounds and strong investment backgrounds and would be of value. And some of them definitely did, and some of them definitely didn't. And it's typical of, we run the VLS like a startup. So it's typically some things work, some things don't, and you get better and better and better. The process of continuous improvement. And then during the year with the Business Catalyst, helping me try to help them identify the customer journey, which we're going to talk about today, I realized that probably the best speaker on all of those topics was actually here in front of us, like hiding in plain sight. So Lisa is going to do this training today. And then we're going to do a sequence of training, but it'll be in the VLS, but because that's what people pay for in the VLS. So it'll be a sequence of training going forward. But some of you are here somewhat curious about what goes on in the VLS and the quality of the VLS. So this might help you make, if you're sitting on the fence, go one way or the other. So I'll shut up. I'll concentrate on the chat and the front door and let Lisa do her thing.
Well,
And I'll,
hello. Did you all get an email with a couple of links on it with a workbook and a journey map? Okay, I just want to, yeah, look, Sylvie's even printed hers. That's super impressive. It's actually meant to be an interactive document so that we don't use up all of our color ink and all of that, but that's super impressive. Sylvie's getting 10 out of 10 so far. No one can match you on that. So as Trevor was saying, the customer journey for me is the beginning of the whole process. So my name's Lisa. I am based in the UK. My accent probably gives that away a little bit, although some people do mistake me for being Australian, which is always interesting. And my business is focused around automation. We are an automation agency. We create efficiencies in people's businesses so that they're spending their time in the right place and therefore their money in the right place, and fixing what we call the gaps in the customer journey. We normally work with people who are already established and know a little bit about their there you are. I'm going to put those in the chat now. There you are, Leslie. We work with people who already know a little bit about their own business, because identifying your customer journey requires you to know about your business and about your avatar. And that's what we're going to go into. So This is good exercise for whether you are an established business or a new business. You definitely want to be, I'm stalling while I get my slideshow up. You definitely want to be looking at your customer journey. So has anybody here done anything on customer journeys before or even looked at it? Okay. I can't, there we are, there's the chat. All right, can everyone see my screen okay, which has a great big ideal customer journey with intention on there? Let's see. So I want this to be interactive. It's really hard doing webinars sometimes. It feels like you're just kind of speaking at a screen of anonymous people. So I really would like to hear or see answers in the chat. And if you've got a specific question, feel free to raise your head. Jamie Wood's in the room. He's definitely seen me do this presentation before. So we will move forward with this. The customer journey for me is the breakdown of how a customer moves through your business. Now, this life cycle image that you can see right now shows that it is actually perpetual, because if you manage to get the formula right, and I've got to tell you, at different stages of your business, you need to be reviewing this all the time. This is not like a fixed one and done, set it and forget it. It is something that needs to be reviewed. And there's 3 key stages to it. So tell me, can anyone tell me why it is that we would want to have a customer journey in the first place? This is the bit where you kind of interact a little bit and you put some stuff in the chat. Why would we even want to think about a customer journey and make it important for our business? Anyone got any ideas? Recurring customers, brilliant. Narrowing down your target audience, absolutely. User-centric value creation, love that. Targeting messages, brilliant. Good referral base. Look at this. You guys are just totally on it. I love it. So one of the things is, and keep on going, do not stop there. Dorothy, brilliant. Nancy and Dan, the having a great experience. If we are determining the next steps, then we are creating a great experience, because if we know the direction they're going in, then they will know the direction they're going in. And if we don't, well, then we're probably likely that they don't either. So creating a great experience keeps sticky customers, loyal customers, all the rest of it, and absolutely repeat business. And repeat business and increasing the cash value of your existing clients is something that a lot of us forget about. As we'll talk about in a bit, we're so busy acquiring new clients that we don't actually look at our existing customer base and see how we can offer more. It's not about fleecing our clients. It's really about how much value we can keep giving them on a repeat basis, and therefore get the all-important reviews and testimonials that will end up looping people back into the beginning. And that's why it's perpetual, because once people get to a certain point and you ask them for a review or a testimonial, it pings people back to the beginning. So you get this lovely loop going. That's assuming you have a wonderful product that people want to give reviews and referrals and testimonials. So Jackie's saying, it drives me crazy with mobility companies when new customers get the best deals and have to switch companies every few years. Yes, that's not looking after existing clients. And it can often be very frustrating when they're always focusing on the new people and not the loyalty of the existing people. Now, one of the first things that we need to establish in this is understanding who are you in this. So even before we get to who we're serving, we need to understand who we are. Now, a lot of people will call this niching, but this is a little bit of a twist on that. Most people will go, well, I'm a lawyer, I'm an accountant. That's not how we actually look at it when we're building a journey. When we're building a journey, we're looking at it as, are you an info business, a business that is selling information, selling courses? Are you an e-commerce business, or a coach or consultant, or bricks and mortar? And even within bricks and mortar, you're going to have something like maybe an appointment-based business, like a spa or a dentist. And then you're going to have a membership, maybe like a subscription, if it's a gym type business, so, or a retail showroom. And then there's obviously the professional services. And knowing who you are in the journey is going to determine it. They're very different journeys. There might be hybrids. It might be that you're a coach or consultant who actually does have an info business or a course that you're going to sell in or a mastermind. So understanding who you are in the process at the very beginning is a very important step, understanding your model. The next step, of course, is understanding who your customer is. You can't have a journey, a customer journey, without a customer. And it can be that you might have more than one type of customer. And if we look at this world here that we're in, we've got people that purchase courses, we've got people in a group mastermind, and we've got people in a mentoring mastermind. So they're very different personas and avatars. They all kind of add up to the same thing. But it's really important that we're looking at the avatar, because if we are trying to speak to young mums who are stay at home and want to have a stay at home job, then we need to know that's the case. If we've got a product for pets, is that for dogs? Is it for cats? Is it for goldfish? What kind of pet owner is it we're speaking to? It's not going to be all pet owners if we've got something that's going to be defluffing the cats. Right? We want to speak to cat owners, not pet owners. So really understanding who the avatar, the persona is the absolute place to start, because you can't design anything beyond that point. So this is the point at which we can do some nice exercises. One of the things that we like to do is look at who is our favorite customer. So if you have been working with a certain type of client that really you enjoy, having a look at why it is that you enjoy working with that person. Is it that they have the right personality? Is it that you are solving the right problem for them? Because it can be really tricky, because a lot of us, especially in the service-based business, find that we want to serve everyone. We're so capable of being able to fix so many problems for so many different people that we spread our arms wide and we invite everybody in. But the fact that we can solve the problem for lots of different types of people doesn't mean that we should. And often we can find ourselves in a situation where we were very well-meaning, but those clients get noisy because we haven't identified their problems properly. Identifying the problems that we're solving for our clients, for our avatar, is super important, because marketing is all around marketing the solution to their problem. You identify the problem and you market the solution. As Trevor says often, entrepreneurs are fixers. What is the problem that you want to fix? And more to the point, do your prospective clients and your avatar know that they have a problem to fix? You've got solution aware and you've got problem aware. It could be that somebody is looking to purchase a new dog collar, let's say, whilst we're on the story of pets. And so what they are looking for the solution. They know what the problem is, and they are on the web searching for the latest and greatest in dog collar technology. Whereas some people might not even know that they have a problem. They might stumble across something that is a tag that you attach to the collar in case you lose your dog. And they might go, oh, that's a problem I didn't even know I could solve. So would you say that with the product that you offer, that your prospective avatar is problem aware or solution aware, or both? Do they know what the problem is and they're just out there looking for the best price or the best service provider or the best solution to the problem they know they have? Or is it that they don't even know they have that problem in the first place, and you've got to raise awareness for it? They might know what the pain looks like for that problem. They might know how it's showing up in their world, but they're not actually sure what the problem is. So in your workbooks, you will see that we've got some top line information that we've shared that you can fill in. I don't expect you to fill it in now. We're going to be covering quite a lot of information, and we're not going to be able to complete the whole workbook together on that. That would be a full day's worth of stuff, and it requires thought and it requires meditation, because if you do have more than one product or service. I used to run a plumbing and heating company. It's true. I used to have 12 vans on the road in London. Who would have thought it? But we used to have different types of customers. We'd have our residential customers, and we would have our letting agents, and we would have our industrial clients that we were installing large quantities of boilers for. The conversation that we're having with each of those avatars is very different. I'm not having the same conversation with the letting agent as I am with the homeowner. And that's what marketing is. It's a conversation, and it should always be a one-on-one conversation. It's never a one-to-many. Kirsty, you've got a question?
I do have a question, and if now's not the best time to answer it, that's okay. But what I'm working on right now is targeting a very specific customer in the beginning, right? As we're launching, our customers may or may not know that they have a pain point. So we're going to have to be doing a lot of education, right? Since it's a brand new product. So I'm wondering what your thought is. Are we right to go in very niche at the very beginning and then expand later to our specific customer?
I would say the more niche you can get, the better, because you can refine your conversation to that niche. So with some of my software products, I have a niche with dentists. The solution that I provide for dentists also works for vets, and it works for salons, and it works for any appointment-based business, my solution. But I'm targeting dentists because of reasons that I've decided to target dentists, for the messaging of them being able to find them and whatever it might be. So the fact that you can solve it for more than one problem or avatar doesn't mean that you should. I do believe in niching, and I do believe in refining that messaging, and it doesn't mean that you're going to get it right first time. Marketing is all about testing.
Yeah. And I think that's it. Our marketing funds are limited, in the start. So by being able to know exactly where to go to get our customer, and I also feel like this particular customer will help sell the product. So good. Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, there's a lot of tools out there. So what you've got in the workbook is not a super in-depth avatar exercise. There are plenty of workshops, and I've got additional avatar specific workshops which will go into the pain, and it will go into how is that pain showing up in their world, and it will go into what are the mistakes and the thinking that they're making as a result of having this problem. And this is what all comes in to your messaging. Some of you may have heard of a gentleman called Donald Miller, who wrote a book called Story Brand. He also wrote a book called Marketing Made Simple. And he speaks about the avatar, your persona, your client being the hero, and you are the guide. For Star Wars fans, that means you're Yoda and they are Skywalker. For Trevor, that means that you're Aslan and they are Lucy, because you don't know who they are. So it's or that they are Merlin, you are Merlin, and they are Arthur. So just you're the guide, they are the hero, and you are creating the story for them. Now, once we've identified who it is that we're speaking to, or who it is that we want as our client, the next thing is, like as Kirsty was saying, we've got to go and find them. It's like, where are we going to find them? Because they are in fact already hanging out. Your crowd, the group of people that you want to target, are already gathering and swimming together somewhere. This is from one of my favorite movies, Nemo. They're swimming together somewhere. There's a really great exercise by a guy called Chet Holmes, who unfortunately has passed, and he's got an exercise called the Dream 100, which is, where are you going to find this group of people that you have now identified? Where are they congregating already that you can get in front of them? So there's two types of marketing, really. There is search marketing, when people are going and searching for their solution, the old yellow pages, what we today call Google. And then you've got interrupt marketing. So if you're on social media, it's those sponsored posts and ads that come up that interrupt your experience, that are getting ever so clever with the algorithms to get the right message in front of you. So understanding how you're going to get your message and your copy in front of those people. The Dream 100 is a fantastic exercise for that. It's very easily done on a spreadsheet as well. You could create a tab for each of the different places where they're going to be found, where websites are they hanging out on, what magazines are they subscribing to, where are they shopping, what podcasts are they listening to, who are they following, because there's a lot of noise out there today. There is a lot of competition for getting people's attention, no matter what it is that you're selling, let alone the reels for, you know, cats falling off rocks and, you know, dogs chasing the cats, all the silly reels that we get on social media. And we have to compete with that. Whilst we don't want to hang out with social media and have our brains turn to cabbage and have it as a distraction, unfortunately, most of the time, that is exactly where our clients are to be found. Has anybody done this kind of exercise before with their avatar and finding where they are already hanging out? Sylvia has. Brilliant. And have you had success with that, Sylvia, of knowing where to find them up front? Brilliant, Nancy. So this is good. We've got some people in the room who have already got some expertise in this area. And it's difficult, right? Because we get it, we think we get it right, and what works today isn't necessarily what works tomorrow. And so there we get to a point of, you know, kind of slightly throwing in the towel at times. So the foundations before we even start looking at the customer journey is understanding who you are in the process, who they are in the process, and more to the point, where they are once we know who it is that we're looking to find, where we're going to go looking for them and get our message in front of them. And then we've got the marketing side of the coin, which is what you're saying, which is your messaging. And is that the right messaging for that avatar? Are they going to hear you? Is it the right language? Must really try and keep geek speak out of your language. You've got to remember they don't know all the terms and the acronyms. All you're going to do is make them burn brain calories and scare them off, and they're not going to end up spending time with you. They're going to go and spend time with something that's a lot more easy to consume. What they're seeing is your visibility, and the value, always value first, is what you're offering, and that is your content. So you've got to kind of wrap all of this up. So now we know who's on the journey, we know where to find them, and more to the point, our messaging is congruent with that. Our offer and our visibility and our content all wraps it up. So people are constantly going, oh, I'm in the right place. This is me. Yes, yes, yes. The more you can get them to be nodding their heads and going, yes, this is me. Oh, I feel like that. The more engaged they're going to be, the more at home they're going to feel, and the more they're going to know that whether it's a product or service, that what you have to offer is what they're looking for. So then we've got the map. Now, I'm old enough, as are many on this call, I believe, to have learned to drive before a GPS. We've got something in the UK, I don't know if you got it over in the States or not, called an A to Z, which is literally a book for every city with every single road in it. And you look up your starting point and you look up your end point, and you have to figure out how to get from A to Z, actually, as we're in American zone right now. So now, especially if you're my 21-year-old daughter, who there's no chance she could read a map, you want to get in the car and you want to know your destination. You just plug it into Waze, or you plug it into Google Maps, and you know the destination. And this is what I was saying before, is if you don't know the destination that you want your client to end up at, then they are not going to know either. It's the Thomas Guide. Thank you, Kirsty. So have you ever experienced being in somebody's marketing journey where you felt a little bit lost and you weren't kind of sure what you were meant to do next, and actually just got bored trying to figure it out, and you went and found an alternative supplier instead? It's like being on customer services in the loop of doom, in the you know, press 3 to speak to a real human being, and you ended up with a recorded message. It's just like, oh, I'm going to go and move my mobile phone contract elsewhere. So that's what the problem is that if you don't know the destination, they're not going to know the destination. So don't just kind of just start throwing stuff at it and going, well, let's just kind of see what's happened next. This is what I mean by having a customer journey with intention. So this is where we then start with the actual mapping out of the journey. So this is one of the downloads that you've got, which is you can do it on a piece of paper. I happen to, we build these out all the time. I use a flowcharting software called Lucidchart for this. There's another one called Miro, M-I-R-O, and it's a very satisfying flowcharting. I use it all the time. But equally, a piece of paper, Sylvie's probably got hers printed already, or just sketching it out. You'll see what we're going after. Now, the customer journey is broken down in our world into 3 distinct phases. That is the capture leads phase. This is the very beginning of the journey before somebody actually becomes a client. This is where we're looking at targeting them. We're going to go through it in some detail. We're then moving into the sales process where we convert them from a prospect or a lead into an actual paying customer or client. And then we actually fulfill against that, which is the point at which we want to impress them. We want to see if we can offer them more value and ultimately get those all important reviews, referrals, and testimonials. Has anyone got any questions up to this point? Oh, because I'll just keep on going. It's just an excuse to have a little sip of my drink. So the targeting part of this is really the advertising, is what are we doing to get in front of these people? It might be online, it might be offline, you might be doing paid, you might be doing social, but really identifying the advertising of what we talked about with Chet Holmes and the Dream 100 is how are we going to get who we are and what we offer in front of these people. So where are we going to go looking for them? Are we going to be asking for family and friends to refer people? Are we going to networking? BNI is really good for small business. Are we going to Chamber of Commerce? Are we going to trade shows? Where is it that you're actually going to be targeting these people? That's the very first stage. And then we can get to work. We've got to look at what we're going to do to attract them. What is something, does anyone here heard of what a lead magnet is? You know what a lead magnet is? It's called a lead magnet because it's meant to attract people to you like a magnet. So great, Sylvie and Nancy. So it's like if you've been somewhere and somebody's got you to fill in a quiz, or they're going, here are the 3 top tips. And essentially what a lead magnet is, or an ebook, or a leaflet, or a QR code, is getting you to exchange your details, whether it be your email address or your phone number for SMS, for something that is valuable to you. If you're somebody that's into diets, and as a middle-aged menopausal woman, that would be me, is all of those calculators that are telling me what my hormone levels are, or my metabolism type, or what I should or shouldn't be eating. I'm like beta honey with that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, tell me more. So what is it that you are doing for your business that is offering value, that is speaking to your avatar, that is going to get them to exchange their information with you one way or another? Now, the most important thing here is then to make sure that we capture that information. Now, many people have forms on their website, contact forms on their website, which might, if you're lucky, send an email into your inbox, but that's not capturing somebody's details. You really want to have a system that's going to capture what somebody is interested in or what they've opted in for, because if they're a pet owner, are they opting in for the cat information or the dog information or the reptile information? And then you can make sure that you are serving them with the right information. This, in fact, is normally where we have the first gap in our customer journey, which is where people are not capturing the information effectively. You might just get their email address and then you're not actually following up with them. So making sure that you're making the most of the efforts of getting in front of people is super important as well. Building that like, know, and trust with people to nurture them in the next stage. Once you've captured them, it's really important that you're nurturing them with the right message. You don't want to be talking to somebody who's a dog owner about fish bowls. You know, that's just like making people switch off and go, well, you're no longer relevant to me. I need to go and find somebody else who really understands how to solve the problem that I have. Is that kind of making sense? Little thumbs up. Just fund you all into silence. Excellent. I love the fact Kirsty's at the top. So, different ways that we can capture people would be, it might be, I wouldn't say a web form on a contact form on a website. It's going to be something like a coupon or a webinar or an opt-in page for something of value, somebody coming to you to inquire. Chatbots are really, really powerful these days as well, where people can ask questions. If you've got customer services, then you just don't miss a trick. I once heard a story of a very good friend of mine who had come into a lot of money and decided that he was going to buy a fast car. And he literally went into a car showroom, waving his credit card around, and he couldn't get anyone's attention. And the girl on the desk didn't even take his details. So he went to the car showroom across the road and he bought a car from them. If you don't give people the opportunity to leave their details with you, or you don't train your front of house staff to make sure that you're taking the details, this is what we have a lot with dentists. People call up and they go call back, or they don't capture their details. Then you are literally just turning on the tap and letting that energy fall down the drain. The next step in our journey is when we're then engaging with people. So now that we've captured their information and we're telling them a little bit more, we're nurturing them to build the like, know, and trust, we want to engage with them. So what is the next step in the journey that you're creating for your clients that's going to be able to put an engagement piece, an offer piece in front of them? Now, what does engagement mean? Engagement is going to mean that they actually have to engage with content. They have to do something, whether they've got to click on a link or they've got to book a call or a free consult session. What is that exchange now that you've delivered them their value, and how are you going to get them to engage back with you so that you keep that energy flowing all the way through? Might be a video sales letter. There in this day of every kind of media that we've got, having that is the closest thing that we've got to an in-person exchange will be video. And video is really really powerful in today's market, especially when it's real humans, not AI. So Sylvie, there are many different CRMs, which stands for customer relationship marketing. Yes, so there are many systems that can capture that on the market. I have my own CRM that we build here. Trevor, we're using Keep, which is a very big system, formerly known as Infusionsoft. MailChimp is a mass mailer. There's any number of different software that you can use to capture, and it really will be dependent upon what you need for your business as a whole. Now, if all you want to do is be able to send out email broadcasts, for example, Sylvie, then something like MailChimp may suit you right. It might be good for your budget. If you want something with more automation or oomph behind it, then you're going to be looking for something more like an Active Campaign or a Keep. HubSpot is really for enterprise businesses, but there's any number on there. But I would really be clear on what the features are that you need now, or that you're going to need in the near future, before you on board with something, because migrating to another software can be a painful experience. And this is why we build before we plan before we build, is what I meant to say. And we'll come on to that in a little while. So once you've got your whole customer journey, you're going to understand more around what you need in the technology for your business. There we go. So here we have the second possible gap in the customer journey, which is we fail to follow up with people adequately after we've captured their details. They come in, wasn't that nice, they got their bit of value, and then they just sit in the list, literally gathering dust or going cold. Now, one of the things we need to really know about email marketing, if that's going to be your choice of medium, is there are rules around it. The email mailboxes like Yahoo and Gmail and AOL and Microsoft, they've got rules to protect their users. So if you are a Gmail user, Gmail is going all out to make sure that they're keeping your inbox as clean as possible from spammers. Behave like a spammer, get treated like a spammer. What does that mean? That means that if you email someone that's not engaged, i.e. they haven't looked or opened or clicked on one of your emails in 90 days, they're cold. They're not engaged. And if you persistently email non-engaged people, Gmail will go, you're a spammer. I'm just going to put that email in the spam folder. Not only am I going to do that, but if you try and email anybody else from your email address via Gmail, I'm also going to put their emails in the spam folder because you're behaving like a spammer. So behaving responsibly with email lists is important. And there's lots of re-engagement tactics that we can talk to if you have got a list that's gone cold. There's also, which we're not going to go into today. I just want to highlight the fact that you should never buy a list, and you should always keep your list engaged with regular sending. And not take an email list and just suddenly go, oh, 10,000 mails, let's push that out, because that will trash your reputation too. So adequate follow-up after you've captured somebody's details. Oh, let me just do this. Oh, I've gone all blurry. I'm going to turn it off and back on. Adequate follow-up when you have engaged with somebody is super, super important. Don't let them go cold. What kind of value are you going to consistently give them? It might be that you also add them to a retargeting list. You know, the technology we have today with things like Facebook, of putting an email in and then stalking somebody around the internet. Have you ever done that? You ever gone to a site to look for some Nike trainers and then all of a sudden Nike ads are popping up all over the place? That's called retargeting. Stalk marketing, which is they're able to follow you around with pixels and algorithms on your computer. So having a look at how we're going to convert clients. This is another page in the workbook that's available to you so that you can have a look at when you're engaging with someone, is knowing when is the right time to make the sales offer. Let's have by a show of hands, who on here has a LinkedIn profile? I have a LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profiles, yeah. You're in business, the likelihood is that you've got a LinkedIn profile. So tell me, have you ever had somebody send a connection request to you on LinkedIn, and then within 4.5 nanoseconds, they're trying to sell you something? It's a little bit, yeah, it happens all the time. And it's just a little bit creepy, right? It's a bit like going to a bar and somebody asking you to go up to their room and like giving you their room key. And it's like, oh, for goodness sakes, would you buy me a drink first, at least? And that's the same with marketing. That's what nurturing is all about, is building up that like, know, and trust so that somebody is ready to buy from you at the time that is right for them. People are not just going to come to your website and put something in the basket and off they go. Yes, Leslie, to LinkedIn. It happens to me all the time. I just don't accept the requests anymore unless it's someone I think I know. So making sure that you're able to fast track people for sure. If they're solution aware and they've identified you and they want to purchase and go, brilliant. But the likelihood is that in you're going to have maybe 20-30% of low-hanging fruit, and then above that people are going to, if it's a young mum who's buying a pram, or well, I don't know, you don't call them prams in the States, I can't remember what you call them, the buggies for the babies, is that they're going to want to research if is it mamas and papas, is it this brand, is it that brand, and they're going to want to do their research. And building like, know, and trust is important. So putting your offer in front of somebody at the right time. Well, I now know your name, Anthony, don't I? Putting the offer in front of somebody at the right time is absolutely imperative. If you go in too early, it's a bit like, whoa, back off. And if you go in too late, they might have decided to spend their hard-earned cash elsewhere. So addressing valuable concerns can be really useful in the engagement process as well, is understanding what problems they're looking to solve, what objections they're going to have, and doing what you can to build your company's credibility, which is going to give you the competitive edge. What's going to differentiate you? Why are they going to choose you over somebody else that has a similar product? What's going to resonate with them versus what your competition is doing? So having a compelling offer at the right time of the journey is super important, and that's objection handling. You can send out anniversary messaging. Just don't bother with Black Friday because everybody's inboxes are full then, and that's going to be happening any minute now with July 4th as well. Retargeting, ongoing nurture. So Bob's a bit clever around how you can get things of value, and this doesn't mean spamming. This doesn't mean over communicating just for the sake of getting there. It really means providing value for people. Once we've got that in front of people, let's see what we've got next. There we go. This is where people fail. So this is another one in the box. That's the third gap, is not presenting the offer at the right time. I think I've got ahead of myself a little bit. All of those things that I just said on the previous screen, again, they are in your workbook. So you have all those questions that you can ponder on. And again, it might be different. If you've got more than one service or product, it might be that you have to do this more than once for each of the different personas or avatars that you have. Does that all make sense to everybody? Am I going a bit fast? We don't need to slow me down. You can't slow me down live. You have to, on the recording, put me on 0.75 speed. So the sales pipeline. This is where we are then getting people into a position where they're ready to buy. Depending on what type of business you are, and what type of product you have, is going to very much determine what your sales process looks like. Do you know what your sales process looks like? If somebody else had to come into your business and you had to train them in how to sell your product and have the accountability come back, is that process written up? And if not, this is one of the most important points. When we build our customer journeys live with our clients, we normally work from the point of sale backwards, because if you can't close the deal in the first place, then there's no point getting people to that point. So the point of sale is very important. If you're an e-commerce business, you've got an online shop, it's going to be a very different experience for somebody to put something in the basket and check out than it is if they have a higher ticket item, something that's maybe north of $2,000, $3,000, where we would expect to have a phone call. As a customer, we expect to have a little bit more attention if we're going to be spending that kind of money. If it's sub $1,000, maybe not so much, but certainly north of $2,000 or $3,000, people want to have the time, it's given the time of day to be able to part with that kind of money. So what does your sales process look like? What's your ticket value? What do you do to qualify people? They're in the service business especially, signing up the wrong client can be incredibly toxic, not just for you, but for the whole team. That's nobody's fault other than you that onboarded them. If they're not a good fit, they become noisy, they start taking up resource, and before you know it, your other clients and your staff are starting to suffer. It's the same with hiring bad employees, not putting a hiring process in place to make sure that somebody is a good fit and pressure testing them against your values. It's the same principle. So do you have a sales page where people are going to book in a call? Are you putting people onto a training so they can really get a flavor of it? Are you asking questions? Before people join us as a client, we have a whole list of questions to make sure that they are at the right point in their business to be working with us. So pressure testing that will save you a lot of heartache later, understanding your sales process. It is not a one-size-fits-all. All of these courses that are a one-size-fits-all for marketing and sales really need to be looked at in the specifics of your business. There is no silver bullet or magic wand that fits all businesses, no matter what Hormozy says. So closing the deal, how can you eliminate friction from the closing process? By communicating clearly with your clients as to setting expectations up front. How have you built up trust up to this point? And have you emphasized the strengths of your product offering and how you differentiate? This will make a lot of the sales calls go a lot easier if that's the route that you're going, or the communications and what you're putting onto your sales and product pages, if that's the way that you're going for your product. What have we got next? The transitions from sales to delivery. Ah, yes, this is one of my favorite points of the customer journey. We spend a lot of time in our business making sure that the onboarding of our clients is smooth. You don't get a second chance at making a first impression. So if somebody has a really great experience with you in the first 7 to 14 to 21 to 28 days, that is key to them sticking with you, spending more money with you, and referring you later on. So do you have an onboarding process? Do you have a welcome information with key information that they're going to need to have success with your service or your product, of what to do next, or hints and tips, or where to find information or additional products that might go along with it? Educational webinars or YouTube videos or a digital access course. What is it that you can do to make it really slick? As a service-based business here, because we have a lot of moving parts, we have a load of automation that underpins. As soon as someone signs their contract with us, we have a lot of magic that goes on in the background that's automatically creating Google folders and creating invoices, because the customer journey is as much for you as it is for your customers. If you can look at the processes that you have that you're repeating each time and see how you can streamline from one stage to the next, passing information along. Somebody closes with you, you don't want to have to go and then manually enter their details into your account software or follow them up. You really want to look at how you can streamline the process to be able to have it as efficient as possible for you, so that you can go and spend your time doing much more valuable tasks. We call, the $5 task versus the $1,000 task. It's how much of those smaller tasks can you eliminate by processing them out. So having the delivery and fulfillment of your product or your service and seeing how that fits in the customer journey so that people really have a great experience is key. And that's a place where a lot of people, they kind of take the money and then suddenly the customer doesn't mean very much. So we consider this a gap in the customer experience and the customer journey. Oh, I better speed up a bit. Just looking at the time. So impressing an upsell. What can you do so that your clients really feel loved? Handwritten cards or flowers or anniversaries, a little bonus gift that they weren't expecting. This works really well for staff as well. My staff are fully remote, and I've been known to send Uber Eats out in Canada to one of my coaches. I go and check the front door and there is Dunkin' Donuts with a box of donuts and a coffee. These little things can mean so much to people, and having that in the system is really special for people, and it makes them want to do more business with you. It makes them want to refer you. We have in the workbook, you have an impress your client worksheet. There is a load of ideas on here of little ways that you can make a difference so that you can absolutely have raving fans in your customer journey of people that are super happy, because the next thing that we want them to do is we want to ask them how we did so that they can then give us a testimonial or a referral or anything that's going to push people back into the beginning of the journey. It will depend on what you're doing. I don't know if anyone here has ever purchased on eBay, and I'm pretty sure most of us here have purchased on Amazon. And one of the things that we do is we check the number of stars. And lo and behold, if someone's got 1 star or 5 stars, it's going to make a difference to our buying decision. So asking people to go and leave us a review is super, super important. And this actually is where so many businesses fall down. It's like this very last hurdle is that they don't round it all off by asking for a testimonial or referral at the right point in the journey. And there is actually an advanced referral strategy. I learned this at the beginning of my career, and I sat there glued as the presenter on the stage at an Infusionsoft conference, and I think 2011 in San Francisco, got this amazing referral strategy, this advanced referral strategy, which was pretty much, you just got to ask for them. The amount of times that we don't even go and ask where people for that is absolutely astonishing. So that's a kind of roundup of the customer journey, but it's a big piece, right? And a lot of people look at this map and they go, oh my God, I have never seen my business look like this before. And when you do map it out, it is a whole new perspective that certainly spurs on new ideas. But what we really want to be looking at is, where is your ROI on your time? Where are you going to focus first on your customer journey? Because you're going to have a desire to go and fix everything at once. And it's going to be a little bit like taking the engine apart and having it out on the desk and then just going, oh, shit, I wish I hadn't done that. I've got to put it all back together again now. Focus on one thing at a time. What is going to get you the biggest ROI on your business? Where do you want to bring focus today that's going to save you time, is going to get you more organized, which is going to save you time, or is going to increase your sales? And focus in on that. You also want to probably have a look at the numbers in your business. So whether that is looking at activity reporting of what actually happened, what was the behavior, the status reporting of where are people now in the journey, and are people getting stuck at any stages? Funnel reporting, if you're paying especially for paid ads, you want to make sure you're getting your ROI on that. And we have a saying here is that we paid traffic is adding fuel to an already burning fire. You don't want to just be creating something new without it being proven and adding fuel to it. And having KPIs and scorecards for staff and workflow reporting. So, and obviously financial reporting. If you don't know your numbers, your business is likely to grow a lot more slowly if you don't know which knobs to turn and which levers to pull in order to make a difference. And if you don't know how to read a balance sheet or a cash flow, then I suggest you get educated on that. Then you want to map in here at each of the different stages of your customer journey, what are the important numbers we need to look at to know whether it's success or not. And this is all important as well for when you have staff. If staff don't know what success looks like, what their KPIs are, when they're winning, or when you think they're winning versus when they think they're winning, then it can be a lot slow and can create a lot of friction even. So what we do, and you're going to have the recording to watch back on this as I speed up as we head into the final furlong, is we take what we call those plays and we create a playbook out of them. So each of those little boxes will have a start, and that will be something like a quiz or a scorecard, whatever the start of the journey or that part of the process is. It will have a finish, an end point, and then it will hand off to the next play. Does that make sense? We know what I'm going to go into it in a bit more detail. We want to know where it starts, where it finishes, and then it hands it off in the process, in the flow chart. We want to drill that down. And we don't want to end up like spaghetti junction. We don't want to end it up where it's just all this kind of scattered mess. We want to have it all nice and laid out and straight, which is this is how we do it. This, in fact, is the process of how we do it. So what we do is we look at where something starts, where it's going to finish, and what the steps are in between in each of those stages. So somebody opts in, we're going to deliver the ebook, we're going to send 3 emails and create a task to call, and that's going to carry on until they buy the course, or they're going to complete the form, book reminders to book a call, and this will be added to the nurture until they book a call, and it hands it off to the next stage, which is once they book a call, it goes into the sales process, and then what happens in the sales process for the outcomes. And this is how we build our journeys step by step. This is not an overnight success. This is something that takes time to build over time, which is why you need to focus on one thing at a time, and you need to understand what the process of each bit is. Imagine that you had to train somebody else into it, and you had to do the step by step, and you had to give them the resource that they're going to need in order to achieve that step. If something happens to you, how are you going to protect your business from being leveraged on you if you want to, I don't know, take a holiday, or you want to go to your kid's graduation or something? So the process behind it is really, really key. So your steps to success: who you are and who they are, where they are, what you're saying, and where you're saying it. Design the actual journey you want them to take. Know your numbers and what they mean, and build a solid, non-leaky system of plays that is going to ensure that as many people as possible get from A to B in your business. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how to build an ideal customer journey with intention. Ah, look at that, 5 minutes to spare.
That was impressive. That's good.
It's like when I spot the clock and I'm coming up the other and go, oh no, speed up.
So we don't, because we want to keep it to an hour. It's really important in business to keep on time, start on time, finish on time. So I don't actually think we have time for questions. But Kirsty, you're in the VLS, so this will be posted in the VLS and the Guild. So you can ask the questions in VLS, and Lisa is always scurrying around the VLS and can.
Can I just make a quick statement? It's not really a question.
It has to be really quick, Kirsty.
Really quick. I just want to say, Lisa, thank you so much. Trevor, thank you so much. I'm working with a direct-to-consumer consultant. And I just want to say, for people who are not in the VLS, I'm spending a lot more money than a VLS membership on this consultant. And you just summed all this up so succinctly. I will be watching this back over and over again. Thank you. Thank you,
Kirsty. I appreciate it. And I concur, and I got to say, this is, I don't think that, Lisa might correct me on this, but I don't think we ever in our businesses get to the point where we're perfect at any of the customer journey. We just get better and better the more love and heart we give to it. I've been working with Lisa exactly a year actually, and we've got it somewhat right and somewhat wrong, and we're just constantly going back through this the whole time to try and get it right. And sometimes you have to bring in outside resources too, because it's so easy to not be able to see the trees because you're in the forest. And so having fresh eyes on something really helps a lot. The VLC has been fantastic for us from that perspective, because we ask you constantly, how are we doing? What's it like? And you tell us, we'd like more of this or less of that. And, and it just helps tremendously to get, because you're in the VLS, people like Kirsty are my customer, and people in the Guild are my customer. And therefore, I need to treat you the same way that Lisa is talking about treating customers in this customer journey. Hopefully we do a good job on that, but we're constantly listening and constantly asking so that we can get it right. So appreciate everybody's attention. 35 people showed up for this, and we still have 33, which is pretty amazing. That is a testimony to the quality of the presentation. So thank you, Lisa. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And as Trevor says, this isn't a one and done. This is not a set it and forget it. You've got market forces, you have got recessions, you've got, I don't know, pandemic. There's all sorts of things going on all the time that are going to impact. There's competitors coming to the space. There's a new thing like, I don't know, AI. When AI came in October last year, we had to completely rethink our business as an automation agency, because automation is now native in so many native softwares. And, AI is going to take this space from us. So we had to completely rethink our business. So having your customer journey, knowing your outcomes, knowing who you are and what you're serving and who you're serving it with is the key to having success and being able to be nimble.
Thank you, Lisa. And on that mic drop moment, we will love you and leave you. I look forward to the next one. And anybody has any questions? Unfortunately, I don't like these things to drag on, so please put your question in Mighty Networks. There's not enough chatter in Mighty Networks yet. Everyone's got getting used to each other. So it's a bit like a cocktail hour, where people are a little nervous at the beginning. So please put your questions in there, because it gets us all chatting then. So we really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your attention. The energy in this meeting was fantastic. I can feel it. So thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.